This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
We want to get right into that breaking news we're following this morning. Out of Texas right now at 5, an officer-involved shooting happened within the hour or so, and the Austin bomber, we're told, is dead. That's according to our news partners at KVUE out there in Austin.
All right, so big coverage of this morning from KVUE. Lindsay Boach is watching everything as well. She's in the newsroom now with more details of how this all unfolded and how they actually got to this suspect. Lindsay?
Yeah, good morning. This has all been happening over the past few hours in the Round Rock area, which is just north of Austin. There was a big break in the case yesterday after that FedEx distribution center bombing kind of solidified who police thought was behind all of this. So here's how it all happened. After the first few bombings on March 2nd and then March 12th, there were two on March 12th, police started to go to hardware stores asking for people who maybe had made some suspicious purchases. And then after they started to make a few links, they linked security video from the FedEx facility back to that same person. Right now, what you're watching is our live feed from KVUE in Austin, Texas. They're our sister station there. You can see that I-35 is closed. That's where all of this is kind of happening, just north of that Austin area. So then police used cell phone technology to track the suspect to a hotel. And according to our partners at KVUE, when they approached that suspect to make an arrest, there were shots fired at some point, and then the suspect detonated some sort of device on himself. They have not released any information as to who this person is, but again, they are reporting that the Austin bomber is dead and has reportedly killed himself. So their big break coming yesterday at that FedEx facility. Police had an idea of who this was, but this kind of gave them more evidence and more clues. They haven't released any information, but this is something that I'll be following for you all morning long. Lewis?
All right, Lindsay, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll be covering this every quarter hour as well as on the Facebook page. If you want to watch that live stream of that station's coverage there as well, we've got it on First Coast News Facebook page. Just click on
All right, folks, we want to give you a quick heads up this morning as you head out. We are dealing with a cool down right now. For more on that, we want to send things over now to your storm expert meteorologist, Mike Franklin.
Yes, hey, no more hailers out there, but a big cool down behind our front. And we do have a temperature falling pretty rapidly now at 53 degrees. So if you step outside, big thing that caught my attention, yeah, temperatures running about 10, 15 degrees cooler compared to yesterday. You can see behind our cold front, things have changed. In fact, we're tracking a lot of wind. So we're calling it Wednesday wind chills. In fact, we're talking about a wind advisory from noon to 8 o'clock. Notice you got sustained winds of 20 to 25 miles per hour to the northwest, but gusts up to 40 miles per hour. So secure those loose objects and two hands on the steering wheel, especially this afternoon as that wind really picks up. So I'm most concerned about the Matthews Bridge, the Hart Bridge as we go through the afternoon. Temperature wise, here's the cool down, 49 to start and a windy finish, 65 degrees. Now let's get to Katie Jeffries in the ViStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Thank you, Mike. Your time is 5:03. Starting with a live look right now towards I-95. This is the southbound side near the exit here for US 90. So you can see that right lane there blocked of I-95, as well as a broken down car here kind of in the right shoulder-ish area. So look out for the construction workers there. Let's take a look here towards traffic maps. So as you make your way out the door on 95 northbound, there was a crash earlier this morning, but it looks like they just moved the vehicles. 95 northbound near Emerson, that right shoulder there was blocked, but when I checked back on it just a moment ago, it looked like those cars were gone. Also, this construction's being cleared along County Road 2209, which is basically St. John's Parkway, near County Road 210. So all lanes were blocked on St. John's Parkway between Russell Sampson and County Road 210, but again, that's going to be cleared up very soon as well. Back to you.
All right, parents, listen up. St. Johns County, listen up. This is a pretty unusual story and something we warn our children about it. And deputies there in St. Johns County say a man tried to lure a young girl into his car using a small dog as the bait. This happened at the corner of Corona Street in Volano Beach. And that is where Alex Osiris is joining us now live with more details and a look at this potential suspect. Alex, good morning.
Lou, good morning. And this is who police say you need to be on the lookout for. Parents, neighbors, vacationers, anyone in the area, be on the lookout for this man. They say he drove up in a vehicle to this Volano Beach neighborhood, tried to lure a 12-year-old girl. Now, she said no and took off, telling her parents, and then eventually police got a good enough look, though, to make this sketch. Now police say they need your help finding him. They say he did have a small dog with him with some sort of pink harness on. And that is what they are saying is just some of the description. Take a look, though, at what else this little girl was able to tell police. Described as a white man in his 60s with short gray hair, gray stubble on his face, brown eyes, and wrinkled skin, also having that Yorkie dog with him. Now, police say this man might be in a gray Honda Civic 4-door, that type of sedan. So they are saying if you're in the Volano Beach area, be on the lookout for that man, that sort of description of a vehicle or that dog. And of course, contact police. We'll have much more on this throughout the morning, but for now, live in Volano Beach, Alex Ositis, First Coast News, on your side.
Well, at 16 years old, Tiffany Hollis, she was gunned down after turning down the wrong street. Now, 8 years later, her family is still asking for answers, seeking justice. First Coast News reporter Cameron Eppinger joins us live from JSO headquarters this morning with more on the case and where it is at this point. Cam.
Keitha, good morning. You know, after several years, JSO still doesn't have any leads on this case. Here's what happened. Back in 2010, little Tiffany, she was in a car, she was driving with some family members, and they were headed to a cookout. But after taking several wrong turns, they pulled alongside a group of men. They were in the car, and they ultimately pulled out a gun and shot her in the stomach. As a result, she later died. Now, police, as I mentioned earlier, they don't have any motive. They don't know any of the suspects who were involved. And now the mother, she's demanding answers.
I was trying to fix her hair, and the detective, he said, no, you can't touch her. And I was like, no, you don't understand. My daughter don't like her hair to be messed up.
Now, police say this was a case of mistaken identity, and we should also mention that last night the family hosted a vigil in Tiffany's honor, and hours after that vigil in the North Riverside area, there were reports of another shooting. No one was hurt in that shooting, but after an investigation, cops later found that there were 2 cars with bullet holes. Of course, if you have any information on either of these incidents, you're urged to pick up the phone and call Crime Stoppers. For now, reporting live in downtown Jacksonville, I'm Cameron Eppinger, First Coast News, on your side.
Cameron, thank you so much. It's 5:07, coming up the very latest on that Austin bomber, apparently dead now on an officer-involved shooting. So a lot of details to tell you about coming out of Austin, Texas in just 2 minutes. Stay right there.
Your time is 5:09. If you're just now joining us, we're following some breaking news this morning out of Austin, Texas. Our sister station there is reporting that the Austin bombing suspect is dead. This is according to their sources. We're told the suspect detonated himself after he was confronted by law enforcement. This is following 5 package explosions in the Austin area in just the past month alone. The 6th one right outside of San Antonio, we're told, was not related. 2 people have been killed so far as a result of the explosions. We're going to continue to follow this breaking news for you throughout the morning. Again, we are told the Austin bombing suspect is dead this morning.
Deadly pedestrian bridge collapse. It claimed 6 lives in Miami at FIU. An AP investigation revealed that a key design change to the placement of the support towers actually may be to blame there.
Now, the project was already running about $2.6 million over bridge, and it was originally scheduled to be completed by July. It was pushed back to next January.
Well, listen, there's a reason we live in Florida, ladies and gentlemen. It's because up in the Northeast, they've had 4 big storms in just 3 weeks. Those nor'easters are ridiculous. It's the spring, folks. We're supposed to be done with this, but oh no, several feet of snow falling for days on end. This time of year when we see the long track patterns, these huge areas of low pressure digging in right off the coast and pumping in that moisture and that cold air, and thusly snow in the Northeast. Now, here in the South, we're not immune to it as well, dealing with the tornadoes, dealing with the hailstorms, but we're looking at Atlanta now. You had dozens of homes damaged by the storm that moved east out of Alabama. That was the front that this nor'easter is dragging behind it. Now, here in Jacksonville, we had some incredible pictures that you sent in of hail in your area, but essentially that McClenny Baker County area really got hit with some golf ball sized hail, some incredible video there. And now, while the storms are over with, we're dealing with a change in our temperatures. And that's why we've got Mike Prangley, Katie Jeffrey standing by with weather and traffic together. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. That hail did some damage. Okay, so
yeah,
we had
sure there's some dents in cars.
golf ball size hail. And folks said, well, how can that happen? Well, those hailstones were flying at about 65 miles per hour. Okay, so that's the updraft speed we had in some of those hailstones. So for here today, we're going from hailers to wind, okay? And the nor'easter we're talking about. In fact, you can see the nation's capital shut down today. It's a snow day. Heavy snow heading to New York City, Boston once again, so the fourth nor'easter in 4 weeks, and we're feeling its presence, okay? So the wind is forced to speed up from high pressure to low pressure. When you get these big storms, yes, it can turn awfully windy this time of year, and we're seeing that. So you see the blue shading, that's the 6 to 12 inches for the nation's capital, maybe 12 to 18 inches for New York City, so you've got to check those travel plans. So March mayhem, March madness, not done with us yet. It's going to feel more like winter today. Our weather impacts the wind, 25 to 40 mile per hour, and we've got that wind advisory in effect this afternoon. Travel north in the high range, wind chills in the moderate, and then pets and plants. At least, Katie, we're not seeing a frost or freeze, but look at those temperatures. We're stuck today in the low to mid 60s, but we'll find some warmer weather just in time for your golf game this weekend.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
You knew exactly what I was thinking about for this weekend. Let's take a live look outside right now towards the Dames Point Bridge. Traffic there moving along without any problems. No construction along the Dames to report either. Buckman Bridge, same story. It's very early, so traffic is still pretty light. So going from Blanding over towards I-95 is only about a 10-minute ride at this point. Also, if you are traveling through Clay County, I'm not seeing any crashes or slowdowns along Blanding or US 17 at this point. So if you're an early bird, you tend to get the best traffic. Same story in St. Augustine, no crashes, and US 1 as well as I-95 through St. Johns County, they're accident free as well.
Finds freedom to use that powerhouse voice. I'll have the buzz coming up in just 2 minutes.
At 5:16 is your time. A very good morning to you. We're following some breaking news this morning out of Austin. The suspect in those bombings is now reportedly dead. This from our sister station, KVUE. And this has all unfolded over the past few hours. A big break in the case yesterday after that FedEx distribution center bombing, which kind of solidified who police thought was behind all of this. So here's how it happened. After the first few bombings on March 2nd, then 2 on March 12th, 1 on the 18th, police started to go to hardware stores asking for people who maybe had made some suspicious purchases. And then after they started to make a few links and maybe had an idea of who this person might be, they used security video from the FedEx facility to confirm that they had the same person in mind. And then early this morning, they used cell phone technology to track this suspect to a hotel. And our sister station KVUE says when police approached this man to make an arrest, there were shots fired at some point, and then the suspect detonated some sort of device, killing himself. They have not released any information as to who this person is, but they are reporting that the Austin bomber is dead and detonated some sort of device, which in turn killed him. So their big break coming yesterday at that FedEx facility. Police had an idea, but this kind of gave them more evidence and more clues as to who the person was, something that we'll be continuing to follow through the rest of the morning. Lewis.
All right, Lindsay, yeah, thanks so much. Time right now is 5:18.
Definitely a sigh of relief, I'm sure, for so many people there in Austin. Even us here in Jacksonville, we were on edge for so long about this one.
Package on your door every single day.
Exactly.
Every single day.
It's a scary situation, but again, we just heard there the Austin bombing suspect is dead. That's coming from Austin police out there. Thanks for that, Lindsay. All right, we want to check in now with Brooks Baptiste.
Hey, good morning, everyone. So I'm sure we can all think of a place where we feel free, right? Free to dance as crazy as we'd like and perhaps sing as loud as we want, because in that place, there are no cares. And you know why? Because no one's watching. For one local American Idol contender, that place is a beauty parlor. She says her time at the salon, well, it inspired her to give American Idol a shot.
But every time you hurt me, the least that I cry.
While these notes come easy for her, Everyday life has its challenges. For this 20-year-old rock soul singer, her mom's salon is a place where there are no limits.
This is where, the magic comes in.
On a typical day, Jatara Presley is found writing music.
I'm really creative when I'm in the salon. I do all my writing in here.
She's written a few songs, and her lyrics stem from experience.
I've been through a lot, in the past couple of years.
Instead of dwelling on the drama of trying to break through, she removes the chairs, looks into the mirror, and lets the music take control. Because this room is one in which she feels free.
I just feel like it's really peaceful in here. There's nobody coming in and out of here. I can lock the door when I have to. There's mirrors everywhere. It's just, I don't know. This is just a place where I could just come in here and just think.
She's always practicing for the moment she'll someday be able to share her gift with the world.
Not a lot of people out here that, sing anymore. This generation now, there's not really a lot of, good singers. So I really feel like we need to bring that back. We need to bring back those really good, solid, strong singers.
A few years ago, after branching off from her singing group to pursue a solo career, she wondered if putting her dream on the back burner was the best option.
I kind of gave up. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I could, keep pushing forward. I just didn't know. I was lost. But, that actually motivated me to work harder, and look where I am now.
And now she's hoping that she'll get her chance to shine on a national platform.
To get to where I am now, it's so emotional, and it's exciting. All I could do was cry. I don't know. It's like when you accomplish something, it just makes you feel so happy, and all you can do is cry.
What an incredible story. So she tells me that one door slam, well, it isn't the end of the world. Instead, she believes it's an opportunity to show others what you can do on your own. You can follow her journey this Sunday at 8 on ABC to see if she gets her hands on one of those golden tickets.
Now, weather with your First Coast News storm experts, powered by AC Designs.
So great to be with you, and yes, checking those travel plans out there. That's the big thing this morning. We're talking about numerous flights canceled heading to the Northeast, including D.C. We've got snow back to Cincinnati, Louisville, Kentucky, up into areas of Tennessee, Asheville, and this cold nor'easter blowing in over a foot of snow in some of the higher elevations, maybe even 2 feet in some of the mountain areas. So we're waking up much cooler today. We're feeling the wrath of winter once again. 53 Jacksonville, just 38 in Atlanta. So as we look at today here at home, windy, wind gusts northwest 25 to 40, and we're talking about temperatures only in the middle 60s. But I've got some warmer news. The weekend weather, we're talking about 76 on Saturday. That nor'easter moves out, ridge of high pressure and warmer air moves in, and we'll see the winds turn to the south and southwest. So Sunday, there's your beach and pool day, 83 degrees after a morning low of 53. We'll keep the rain chances low. And this time of year, you got to watch that wind very carefully. I think our next wind shift would hold off until Monday with our next cool down. Probably not as dramatic, though, because today we're just struggling to 65, 63. Those morning lows we'll watch. Upper 30s, no freeze or frost to worry about. Warming trend we showed you over the weekend, and then our cool down by Monday. Now let's get to Katie Jeffries in the VyStar Credit Union Traffic Center.
Hey, thank you, Mike. All right, so your time is 5:22. It's nice to be able to greet you in the morning and not be worrying about, rain or hail or anything like that. So as you make your way out the door, 95 northbound here from 210 in St. Johns County all the way to downtown, about a 15 to 20 minute ride. And that is exactly what I want to see for this time of the morning. But people are speeding a little bit on 95. You can slow down. There's no need to speed out there. There's no problems. Let's take a live look right now outside, and you can see those roadways. This is the Fuller Warren Bridge. Things there look great as well. In fact, all your downtown bridges are problem-free at the moment. Let's take a quick look towards your traffic maps. You can see as a whole, our area looks pretty nice. Your routes in from the beach, Atlantic Beach, JTB, all look good. If you're traveling in on Atlantic from A1A to the Hart Bridge ramp, that's about a 23-minute drive, give or take the stoplights. 295 here, kind of on the northwest side of Jacksonville. No problems from I-10 up to New Kings Road. That's about 6 minutes. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Katie. It's 23 minutes past the hour. So have you seen that hashtag all over social media, delete Facebook? Is it really swaying you to get rid of your Facebook account? We're going to tell you what folks here have to say about all of this. That's back in 2 minutes. And here's a live look right now in Austin, Texas, where we have learned the Austin bombing suspect is dead this morning. Sources say he killed himself using an explosive device. All of that is still being hashed out at this time. Still a very fluid situation we're staying on top of this morning. We're back in 2 minutes with the very latest on this and much more. If you're just now waking up on this Wednesday morning, we're following some breaking news. This is out of Austin, Texas this morning. Our sister station there is reporting that the Austin bombing suspect is dead. A sigh of relief for so many in that area. According to their sources, the suspect, we're told, killed himself using an explosive device. This was after he was confronted by law enforcement just north of Austin in Round Rock, Texas. This is following 5 package explosions in the Austin area in the past month alone. The 6th one was right outside of San Antonio, was unrelated. 2 people have been killed so far as a result of the explosions. Again, the Austin bombing suspect is dead this morning. We're told that he killed himself using an explosive device. Still a very fluid situation. We're going to continue to follow this throughout the morning and bring you the very latest as soon as it comes in.
Now let's talk Facebook for a minute. You might be on it, you might check your news on it, and that's fine. But this morning, people on Facebook are sharing posts about whether they should actually delete their accounts altogether. This all comes after the disclosure that a company by the name of Cambridge Analytica may have gotten the user data of 50 million of us all from Facebook. There's new undercover video. It shows the data firm bragging about how it helped send Donald Trump to the White House. Cambridge Analytica denies collating information improperly, though, and says it, quote, never claimed it won the election for President Trump. We are proud of the work we did on that campaign. So now the feds are asking questions, calling on Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg to appear before Congress. A spokesperson said the company is outraged and will take whatever steps necessary to protect everyone's information who uses the site as well. All right, coming up, Good Morning Jacksonville at 5:30. Police need your help. They need your help finding a man in Volano Beach. Looks like this. This sketch right here allegedly tried to lure a young girl in Volano Beach using a puppy dog. Doesn't get any lower than that. More details for you coming up in a live report after this break. Stay there.
This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
We want to get right into some breaking news we're following at this hour on this Wednesday morning. This is out of Austin. We're told the Austin bomber is dead. He apparently killed himself using some sort of explosive device.
All right, so if you've been keeping up with this story, when people have been coming out of their front doors, finding packages at their front door, and those things exploding. All right, so it may seem like this has all come to a conclusion now. If this alleged bomber is truly who they say it is, First Coast News' Lindsay Boach in the newsroom now with more details on how this all unfolded, how Austin police took care of it. Lindsay?
Might not be the end of it. The police still have a lot of work that needs to be done to figure out if he acted alone, if there are more packages that have been shipped. So this is still going to be an ongoing investigation. There was a big break yesterday in this case after that FedEx distribution center bombing, which kind of solidified who police thought was behind all of this. And this all happened just over the past few hours. So over the March 2nd and March 12th bombings, those were packages that were placed on front porch steps. The 12th, the FedEx facility bombing was one where they had security camera footage, so that kind of helped. Police went to different stores asking if somebody had made suspicious purchases, and then they started to make a few links, kind of had an idea of who this person might be, and then it was, again, that security video from the FedEx facility to confirm the person that they had in mind. And then late last night, early this morning, cell phone technology actually tracked the suspect to a hotel on I-35 in Round Rock, just north of Austin. And our sister station KVUE says that when they approached him, the suspect, to make an arrest, he tried to escape. There were some shots fired at some point, and then the suspect detonated some sort of device, in turn killing himself. They have not released any information as to who this person is, but they are reporting that that suspect is now dead. So their big break, again, coming yesterday at that FedEx facility, gave them an idea, more evidence as to who this person was. Ongoing investigation now, again, making sure that he did act alone, that he wasn't working with anyone else, and that there are no more devices that have been placed in other packages and shipped anywhere else. So again, they've got a lot of work to do. I've been getting a little bit more information as the morning goes on. I've been watching our coverage of our sister station KVUE in Austin. So if there are any more updates, I'll be sure to let you know. Lewis.
All right, Lindsay, yeah, thanks so much. So much still to unfold. We're watching that again on our Facebook page if you want to go there as well. A couple different screens.
And she made a very good point just now as well. The fact that there could be other packages that were already shipped, something to keep an eye out for. Still a very fluid situation. We continue to say that because there's still a lot that needs to be looked into at this point to see what's next. But again, we're all hopeful that folks in Austin this morning are breathing a sigh of relief after finding that the Austin bombing suspect, finding out that he is dead this morning.
Continuing coverage all morning, 5:33 right now is your time. Colder and windier out there. Meteorologist Mike Prangley, explain.
Yes, we have our cold front that moved through the area, not before all of that hail, and we'll show you some of those incredible videos coming up. But let's take a look at the big story, the big dip in the temperatures. We were up near 80 yesterday, and down they go. We're waking up with temperatures close to 50, even some upper 40s in the cooler spots. So our runner index, we're going to run over that Wednesday hump, right? It's already Wednesday. How about that? So we've got a 2 out of 5. It's kind of a tough it out day. Let me show you why. Temperatures 51. That's not so bad. 60 if you're going to hold off to that 6 p.m. run tonight. But it's the wind. We have a wind advisory from noon to 8 o'clock. Very tight pressure grading as a big nor'easter winds up in the northeast. So we're going to feel its presence. And notice not just the wind, but holding those temperatures 10 degrees below average with that high of 65. One good thing, though, getting you over the Wednesday hump. Not just getting that run done, but a sunrise to enjoy. 7:29. Use that hashtag GMJ. But first, let's get to KJ making your day. 5-Star Credit Union Traffic Center.
Hey, thank you, Mike. All right, so your time is 5:34 out there this morning. Things pretty nice to start. This is a look towards 295 and Commonwealth, and you can see a couple cars out there this morning, but they're moving along without any issues. In fact, let's take a live look towards traffic maps. Whole 295 loop looks pretty good at this point, so that is nice. Driving in on I-10, it is a smooth drive, really, from Lake City all the way towards the Jacksonville area, but once you hit 301 there in Baldwin, it's only about another 10 minutes before you cross 295. Now, let's talk about Georgia real quick. So if you are driving around maybe towards Brunswick, I-95 looks good, so does 17, even over towards 301, that would lead you up towards Nahunta. Not seeing any problems there either. So far, great start to the morning, and I think after the last couple of days and all that we've seen on the roads, we've earned a nice day. Back to you.
Certainly have. Thanks for that, Katie. Your time now is 5:35. Take a look at your screen. We have an important warning for you this morning, important warning for parents out in St. Johns County. Police are searching for this man. They say he tried to lure a young girl into his car using a dog. First Coast News' Alex Osiris is live in Volano Beach this morning. And Alex, we first and foremost need to know, how is this young girl doing this morning?
Well, she's doing well given the situation, Keith, and police say you need to be on the lookout for this man. Neighbors, parents, anyone on vacation in Volano Beach, be on the lookout. They say this man drove up to this neighborhood in Volano Beach, tried to lure this girl into his car with a dog. That girl took off on foot, didn't get in the car, and says that she told her parents and then told police. Enough for this vivid description, as well as the picture that you see here on your screen as well, talking about this suspect described as a man in his 60s, a white male with gray hair, some gray stubble on his face, but he had a Yorkie dog with him. She knew how to identify that dog, say that it was being called Pixie, and it had some sort of pink harness on. So that is the description that this little girl, this 12-year-old, gave to St. Johns County Police about this man. It all happened on Monday, and they say they are still looking for this man. He could be in a gray sedan described as a Honda Civic 4-door. So that is something else to be on the lookout. If you see that car, that dog, or this man, someone matching that description, be sure and contact the sheriff's office here in St. Johns County. We're live in Volano Beach. Alex Osiris, First Coast News, on your side.
So it's been 8 painful years that a mother has waited for justice. Yesterday, she and others reached out to the community one more time, hoping for answers into her daughter's unsolved death. First Coast News' Camerell Eppinger live with us from JSO this morning. Cam, any new leads for JSO?
Lewis, unfortunately, the police don't have any leads on this case. Still, there's no one sitting behind bars at the county jail responsible for Tiffany's murder. And last night, the family hosted a vigil in her honor, hoping that someone would come forward with some much needed information. Now, here's what we know. We know back in 2010, Tiffany was driving in a car with some family members, and they were headed to a cookout. Next thing you know, they took several wrong turns and ended up in the North Riverside area, and that's that's when they pulled alongside a group of men in a car, and that's when those men pulled out a gun and shot Tiffany and killed her. She suffered a gunshot wound to the stomach. Police say this was a case of mistaken identity. And now the mother, she's demanding answers.
I was trying to fix her hair, and the detective, he said, no, you can't touch her. And I was like, no, you don't understand. My daughter don't like her hair to be messed up.
And now we should also mention that hours after that vigil that happened last night, there were also reports of another shooting. Now, police initially said there were reports that someone was shot, but after investigating, they found out that nobody was hurt. After investigating, they found that there were only just 2 cars with bullet holes in them. Now, if you have any information on either of these incidents, you're urged to pick up the phone and call Crime Stoppers. For now, reporting live from downtown Jacksonville, I'm Cameron Leppinger, First Coast News on your side.
Cameron hitting that point hard that the shooting is the exact same place that it happened just 8 years ago. Coming up, the very latest in the Austin-involved serial bomber, his death. More details, 2 minutes. Stay there. Time is 5:41. If you're just waking up, some breaking news. This is out of Austin, Texas this morning. We've got a sister station there in Austin reporting that that Austin bombing suspect is dead. According to their sources, the suspect detonated himself after he was confronted by law enforcement. Now, this is following 5 package explosions in the Austin area. If you've been keeping up with this, people coming out of their front doors, finding packages on their doorstep, and then they blow up. It's all happened in the past month. Now, the 6th one we were reporting about, this happened outside of San Antonio. Authorities saying that explosion was unrelated. 2 people have died, killed as a result of these explosions so far. Our Lindsay Boach tracking the latest on this as well, watching the coverage out of Austin, and she'll have details for us throughout the morning. Coming up.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. It's already Wednesday.
It is, and we're getting over that Wednesday hump after yesterday's hailstorm. Pretty impressive, huh?
I know some people probably out in Baker County probably have some dents in their car after all that.
Right. Some of those hailstones clocked at about 65 miles per hour. So the bigger the hailstone, the faster they fly. And we were seeing some of those big dents in those cars yesterday with some golf ball sized hail. And we take a look at those strong updrafts. What comes up must come down. And yeah, we got the hail, the low freezing level, and then behind our big front, look what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of wind today, so we're calling it Windy Wednesday. That's our big weather theme today, a wind advisory from noon to 8 o'clock. We've got some wind gusts on order of about 25 to 40 miles per hour. That's right. Outside of thunderstorms, no storms today, plenty of sunshine. It's a tight pressure gradient, and it's a cool wind. This is being wrapped in by a chilly nor'easter to the northeast, so we're only going to see highs mainly in the middle 60s from St. Augustine to Jacksonville to Lake City. And yes, check those travel plans. Travel weather, a big concern. Tons of canceled flights. We're 65 for our high here at home, but near the freezing mark, the nation's capital, snow stretching back to Cincinnati, the northeast, and they could even see more than a foot of snow in New York City. So the 4th nor'easter in 4 weeks playing havoc with travel and our weather, giving us those temperatures about 10 degrees below average. And be careful on the roads with those winds this afternoon. I think they'll be the highest.
Yeah, especially going across those higher up bridges, because the higher up the bridge, the more wind you might be experiencing. So let's take a look out here, and this is a look towards 295 near the exits for the town center. Picking up ever so slightly, but I'm not seeing any delays or any problems there, so that is some good news. Elsewhere along your roadways, things look pretty good on your major interstates, and I will not complain about that. Even driving through the west side of town, if you're headed towards NAS Jacksonville, things look great along 17 and along Blanding. Traffic isn't really that heavy yet, so you might be able to get through those areas without any major problems. San Jose, another spot where it gets really congested from Julington Creek Bridge up to Bay Meadows, looks good right now, about 8 minutes. Of course, that'll pick up later on in the day. Maybe you're traveling to or from Fernandina Beach. Things look good there. So does State Road 200 all the way over towards I-95. So far, good start to the morning. If that changes, though, I'll let you know.
Guys, it's 44 minutes past the hour. A unique project that uses rovers to get a closer look at where the land meets the sea. That's ahead in just 2 minutes.
All right, 5:47 is your time on this Wednesday morning, and we're continuing to follow that breaking news out of Austin this morning. The suspect in those package bombings now reportedly dead. This from our sister station in Austin, KView. And all of this has unfolded over the past few hours. A big break in the case yesterday after that FedEx distribution center bombing, which kind of solidified who police thought was behind all of this. After the first few bombings on March 2nd and then the two on March 12th, police started to go to hardware stores asking for people who maybe made some suspicious purchases, and then they started to make a few links and had an idea of who this person might be. Now, after the package exploded at that distribution center in Schertz, Texas, they tracked it with paper trail back to a FedEx store in Austin and then used surveillance video from that store to cement the fact that they had the right person in all of this. Police also looking at Google search information. The suspect searching for information on different FedEx facilities. And then last night around 9 o'clock, they used cell phone technology to track the suspect to a hotel. Our sister station KView says that when they approached this person to make an arrest, he tried to leave. There were shots fired at some point, and then that suspect detonated a device which killed himself. Now, they have not released any information as to who this person is. But again, they are reporting that that Austin bomber is dead. The investigation not completely over. They still have to make sure that this person acted alone, that there are no other packages that have been shipped. Remember, two people died in all of this. 39-year-old Anthony House died in the first bombing on March 2nd, and 17-year-old Draylon Mason died March 12th. And there were several people who were injured in all of this as well. Now, there will be a briefing coming up in just a few minutes, and I'll have more information coming up at 6 o'clock. Lewis.
Yeah, Lindsay, that is wild stuff. Crazy to think about because everybody every day getting packages all the time. Certainly something we'd had to think about. 5:49 now. Let's go up to Keitha.
Thanks for that, Lou. Well, the College of Engineering at UNF is changing the way scientists collect data on the beach. That's thanks to a grant Dr. William Daly and his students have. They have been working so hard constructing a 3,000-pound underwater vehicle that they call the Surf Rover. First Coast News reporter Cameron Eppinger, he takes us inside the classroom and brings us a first look at the project.
After 30 years of designing, the Surf Rover project has finally come to fruition for Professor William Daly.
This will change the way to survey the beach and the surf zone.
He was awarded a grant from the National Science Foundation in 2015 and has been hard at work ever since, creating a one-of-a-kind diesel-fueled machine that will be used to safely collect data during storms in the area where land and sea meet.
It'll change the way we collect current data like the longshore current and the undertow, study rip currents with it without endangering people, swimmers.
Many have tried in the past but failed. It's designed to operate underwater and power through some of the beach's toughest terrains, including sand, steep slopes, high waves, and rip currents.
Take a look at this. This is a quarter-scale model of what the rover will look like. Now, they've developed this equipment to test the steering of the rover. Now, once it's completed, it'll look something like this.
The project has also provided some hands-on training and work experience for future coastal engineers.
Most of what engineers do, people think it's just on paper designing something, but this is a really unique opportunity to build a scale model and then a full size, and it gives you a sense of how important engineering can be and how impactful it can be to the community at large.
If we can make this thing work, it'll really open up the science of coastal engineering.
Cameron Eppinger, First Coast News, on your side.
Now, the rover is expected to be complete and ready for testing underwater in about a year or so.
Now, weather with your First Coast News storm experts, powered by AC Designs.
Oh, it's so great to be with you. Good morning. It's Wednesday already. After some wild weather this week, you'd think, well, maybe we'll get a little break. Well, we will. It'll be a beautiful sunny day. Sunrise at 7:29, but not getting a break with the wind. All right, a chilly wind blowing in. We're 53 right now in Jacksonville, 55 in Brunswick, a 50 down to Palatka. Yesterday, of course, still folks talking about all that hail and the cold air aloft that helped produce some of those hen-sized hail eggs. Well, hen-sized hail at least, right? We had some hail that actually whitened up the ground in McClenny. Some of that cool air has reached the surface, about 10 to 15 degrees cooler compared to yesterday morning. So as we look at our impacts today, windy Wednesday, 25 to 40 mile per hour gusts travel north will be affected in the high range. And then we've got the impacts with wind chills. That'll come in tonight. We could have wind chills drop into the low to mid 30s. I don't think we'll see a frost or freeze. And then, of course, we'll watch our pets and plants, but we'll keep that in the lower impact range. But make sure your pets have a warm spot, because look at this. We've got a big nor'easter, number 4 in the last 4 weeks, winding up in the nation's capital. They're just totally shut down. I'm happy for the Maryland kids that finally got their snow day. As we look here at home, we're waiting for that nor'easter to clear out because we're seeing the cold flow around it. Probably not going to happen for a few days. Notice Friday, if you're looking for some beach weather at Michler's, still some cool mid-60s. But then this weekend, there you go. We're going to start to warm up on the sand. A lot of fun and sun. Mid-70s Saturday, upper 70s by Sunday. In fact, we'll have some 80s inland. Next week, our next cool down, not quite as dramatic. Lower 70s, Katie, Monday and Tuesday. How's it looking in the ViStar Credit Union Traffic Center?
Hey, not bad. And I will take it considering the last 2 days that we've had. Your time is 5:53. Let's take a look at some of your drive times now for I-10. It's pretty good all the way from Lake City towards Jacksonville. But once you hit 301 there in Baldwin, it's only about 15 minutes before you make it downtown. But people are speeding, so please slow it down. If you have a lead foot, maybe just set your cruise control. That way you won't be speeding and you drive a little safer. Let's take a live look outside right now. Let's look towards I-10 and Lenox. That is that eastbound side right there. This is the westbound side. So eastbound picking up ever so slightly, but no crashes, nothing like that. Let's take a look towards traffic maps. So if you are maybe driving through downtown, all your downtown bridges are open. They look good. So that is great to be able to see. If you are traveling maybe along the northwest side of town, along 295 from I-10 up to New Kings Road, that's about a 6-minute ride, but right now, no crashes to report, and that's great news.
All right, let's take a live look right now. This is very near Austin, Texas. Authorities are about to give a briefing on the alleged Austin bomber death that happened there. We know some 5 packages had been left on doorsteps around the Austin area that had exploded, killing 2, in fact. And now we understand that that alleged bomber is dead in an apparent police standoff. That bomber detonating himself, we're told as well. So much to learn. We will, as soon as this briefing happens, we will bring that to you and all of the information. We'll have a check on that for you in just 2 minutes when we come back from this short break. You were watching GMJ. Stay right there.
Late last night, an early suspect, and we ultimately located the vehicle that this suspect was known to be driving, and witnesses told us he was driving. And in fact, we found that at a hotel right up the road here in Round Rock. We had multiple officers from both the police department and our federal partners that took up positions around the hotel awaiting the arrival of our tactical teams, because we wanted to have ballistic vehicles here so we could attempt to take this suspect into custody as safely as possible. While we were waiting for those vehicles to get here, much time had passed and the vehicle started to drive away. We began following the vehicle, again waiting to get the tactical vehicles here so we could take this, make a stop. However, the vehicle ended up stopping in the bar ditch on the side of the road behind us. As members of the Austin Police Department SWAT team approached the vehicle, the suspect detonated a bomb inside the vehicle, knocking one of our SWAT officers back, and one of our SWAT officers fired at the suspect as well. The suspect is deceased and has significant injuries from a blast that occurred from detonating a bomb inside his vehicle. We cannot name the suspect at this time because he has not been positively identified yet by the medical examiner, and next of kin have not yet been notified. So there will be a lengthy investigation that will take place regarding the officer-involved shooting. The investigation will be conducted by the Austin Police Department's Internal Affairs Unit, with the Austin Police Monitor participating as well for a review of compliance with departmental policy. There will be a concurrent criminal investigation that will take place by the Texas Rangers of the incident that occurred here tonight. Again, this is the culmination of 3 very long weeks for our community. And throughout these weeks, we've talked about the importance of remaining vigilant and looking out for each other. I want to continue that message as we stand here this morning, though, because we don't know
so
where
we're going to continue to follow this. We do have to take a quick break right now to reset to get to our top of our 6 o'clock show for Good Morning Jacksonville, re-emphasizing the fact, though, the authorities there in Texas near Austin, that bomber, the alleged bomber, that suspect is now dead.
A lot of folks there in Austin this morning obviously breathing a sigh of relief, something we'll continue to follow throughout the morning. We'll be right back with much more right here on Good Morning Jacksonville.